Welcome to the Grassy Football Oval!
It's been a very long, stretching, tiring time.
It's good to see that we're having a game at Grassy again.
So how good is it to have footy back in G-Town?
In the winter months it was really wet and cold and muddy.
This is also another giant leap forward in the revival of our Grassy Township.
So how good is it to have footy back in G-Town?
Yes.
This day's been a long time coming, 5 years in fact. During that time, the council have undertaken a mammoth amount of work to the drainage and surface of the ground with a big cash injection from a federal grant. It's become evident during these works that there would not be sufficient funding to bring the building infrastructure up to a usable standard. Grassy Football Club wrote to the then GM Greg Alimes expressing their concern that without this infrastructure, the future of football at Grassy was still under a cloud. And so a plan was hatched. Grassy Football Club successfully applied for a state Improving the Playing Fields grant. The project was managed by King Island Council and culminated in what you see before you today. I won't pretend it's all been without challenges. Aside from a year off with COVID, nonetheless, we're overcome with excitement to be playing football back down at Grassy again. I'd like to acknowledge and thank the King Island Council for their hard work and commitment to this project, which has spanned over 3 mayors, 4 works managers, 5 general managers and 2 Grassy Football Club presidents. We've all shared many frustrations, but we got there in the end, and I'm sure Mayor Blackie is just as proud as I am today. I particularly want to give a shout out to Alan Aylett. Alan's volunteered his time to be the keeper of this oval. He mows, waters and tends to it like it's his own baby. I'm sure you will agree it now rivals the MCG and he has done a magnificent job. The committee members, volunteers and sponsors that have in some way, big or small, contributed to this day should also be super proud. On a more sombre note, this last fortnight has seen the passing of a couple of King Island legends. The Grassy Football Club Committee would like to share our condolences with the family and loved ones of Elva Summers. Back to my brown paper bag. I'd like to take a moment to talk about Donald Satori. Donald's father Jim was both a King Island Football Association and a Grassy Football Club life member. King Island Grand Final Best On Ground medal still bears his name. Donald's late wife Sheila was also a Grassy Football Club life member. Donald was a Grassy man through and through. He played for us from the 1940s and won a Best Junior Player at just 11 years old. Donald captain coached Grassy in 1961. He took great pride and joy in watching his children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren play for Grassy. He was incredibly proud to hang the Jim Satori medal around the neck of his grandson Lee in 2022. Donald had a quiet and endearing nature, but his legacy certainly lives on. I'd like to invite today's captains and umpires forward, along with Donald's granddaughter and Grassy Football Club life member Nikki Taylor, to toss the coin for us today. We'll follow this with a minute's silence, and then in Donald's honour, and then I'll hand over to Mayor Blackie to officially reopen the Grassy Football Club Oval. So umpires, captains and Nikki. Another win for Grassy. Thank you very much. We'll have a minute's silence now for Donald.
It is my very pleasant duty today to declare the Grassy Oval Complex officially open for kiffer football fixtures and general recreation again today. I thank the Grassy Hawks Club, our council works team and other staff, the grant funding we received and a range of volunteers that have made this possible, like Alan Eilert. It certainly is great for Grassy Hawks to have their historic home ground back again. However, this is also another giant leap forward in the revival of our Grassy Township. Council encourages all to again use this oval, not only for footy, but also for general recreation and exercise. But please always close the gates to keep the wallabies out. Australian rules football on King Island is legendary. The historic three-team King Island Football Association is well over 100 years old and is often described as a bit of a time warp back to the 1990s football, a compliment in my eyes. Stories of legendary games and footy finals held here at the Grassy Oval abound. The trophy cabinet and photo board inside the club over there bring much of that history back to life, and for anyone who has not checked it out, I encourage you to go and check it out after this game. Footy here on King Island is personal and physically tough, often pitting brother against brother among our three parochial teams. Anyone who steps off an aeroplane on King Island below 50 years of age, straight of limb, is quickly sized up by one of the teams. In the country, it is compulsory to bip car horns when goals are scored, and we don't complain too much when a working dog gets loose on the oval because the players and umpires need to catch their breaths anyway. The only thing the spectator needs to complete this sacred country footy experience is a hot pie and a cold beer, or maybe even a cold pie and a warm beer would do. I wish the teams, players, supporting staff, umpires and club volunteers best of luck for this match this afternoon, but the real winner today is King Island. The Oval is officially open, the coin has been tossed, umpires and players, crack on. We look forward to a fantastic match. Good luck, thank you.
It's been a long time coming. We're very excited to be back here.
Yeah, what does it really make a difference? Because Grassy Curry, it's only 20 kilometres.
Well, it's 30 kilometres.
Oh, 30, okay.
I think it's really important for football to be playing on different grounds. It's part of what footballers do everywhere else, and we want to be as much like football everywhere else as we possibly can. It's obviously someone's birthday in the background. A lot of people love coming down here, a lot of people don't love coming down here. We love being here, so here we are. The council, initially we had to stop operating down here because our canteen wasn't suitable to serve food out of, essentially, and if we can't have a canteen, we can't have football. That's where our bread and butter is, pretty much. The council acquired a federal grant to do some drainage works on the Oval and to update the facilities. However, most of that money was gobbled up on the Oval. As you know, we always underestimate our budgets on King Island. Everything always costs more than we thought it was going to. So Grassy Football Club put in for a grant through the Improving Playing Fields scheme in Tasmania, and we got a grant which enabled us to put in a bigger cash injection to get the facilities up to scratch as well. So that's all taken time. Then we had a year of COVID. Then we struggled to get football back at all, and yeah, just basically the usual delays that you get living on King Island. As you know, it's hard to find builders, it's hard to get gear here, it's hard to get supplies, and COVID threw a spanner in that as well, to be fair.
What about the actual grounds? Has that seen changes now? Because it had a bit of a rest for 5 years.
Well, we haven't had much rain, so it's a bit hard to really tell, to be honest. But as you can see, the ground looks absolutely amazing. Alan Aylett's been down here volunteering day in, day out. It's been like his own child. Every time I come down here, Alan's about. He's either watering the ground or he's just come to see what people are doing, why we're snooping over here, and he's done a fantastic job, and we couldn't be happier about that.
Good to be back home.
Very good to be back home.
It's been a bit of a drawn-out process for them, but it's good to see that we're having a game at Grassy again. So it's only taken 5 years, so that's not too bad.
What do you think? What was the main? I know the canteen wasn't up for business, had to change. But what about the grounds? It's
the Grassy Football Club received a grant from the government to redo the Oval because they did have some drainage issues and that with it. And as you know, with grants, it's a bit of it doesn't all happen overnight, and that took a while for that to all get done. And then when the ground was redeveloped, there was the issues with the buildings because the canteen had been condemned and it needed to be upgraded. And it just all takes time, Wade. And but it's finally come together, and as you can see, it's a pretty good day for it, considering it's the middle of June. So.
And the ground is really, it has improved a lot now. What so far, what we can see, I know we had a very dry summer, but...
The ground is really good at the moment, but weather conditions have helped. It's really a test. It's going to be a test of time, really, just to see how it is. But I'm sure it's going to be a lot better than what it was before.
What about the future of the King Island Football Association? I know it's often a battle to get the three teams going, have enough players. Is it all looking pretty good, or?
We take each year as it comes, Wade, and the good part about our association is that all three clubs work together to help us get football happening each year. Without that support, or without us all working together to do that, well, I think that football would struggle.
Welcome to the Grassy Football Label!
Well, Jess, you're running the Auskick program. You're fairly new on the island. You've been here a few years now, but
10 years, so
10
still
years.
Brand new.
Yeah, there's not a massive history then yet. But how is it? What does it feel like for you? You live in Grassy also to be back in Grassy here with the footy.
I think that's what's been so good for me, as I'm a kind of like a new island person, but a fairly committed island person, and being a Grassy local and a Grassy football supporter. When I first came to the island, was in Curry, but when I moved to Grassy about 6 years ago, and coming down here to the footy at Grassy was always such a really fun thing when my kids were little, and then being able to come back here and bring them here and see them playing in the Grassy colours, and it does feel like a homecoming, even though the ground's been kind of pulled up and they've done so much work, and it's been a massive team effort, and seeing everyone here today is just, icing on the cake for me, I guess.
Now, the future of footy, of course, is always the young people, the young ones. You're running the Auskick program. How's that going?
It's going really well. We've got, I think, 48 registrations, which is an insane number for Auskick on King Island, and consistent numbers of around 40 kids turning up every week. And it's great to see a lot of the younger ones coming through now and getting really keen, especially lots of little girls that are coming through and really keen to kind of progress into juniors, and that's just, it's great to see. It makes the future of footy look good.
Yeah, one day a women's competition, you think, on King Island?
Would love it. Would love to, yeah.
Well, I grew up in Grassy as a kid, right? So we used to play on this oval, and it was, in the winter months, it was really wet and cold and muddy, and we never had hot showers in here, so our coaches used to take us down to the Singermen's quarters. Like, we'd run down there freezing cold and have a hot shower and then come back up and watch the seniors. So I played in a Grassy junior premiership side, and then I got recruited and went to Tassie, and played a lot over there when I was 16 years of age, a long time ago. Played state football for Tasmania, and then I come back to King Island in 1998, and as most people know, Grassy won in 58 the premiership, 78, and the first year I come back we won the grand final. It was like winning lotto. And then I coached
20-year slots. Well,
yeah,
why not?
It was 58, 78, 98, 20 years apart. It was amazing. And then we broke that hoodoo, won in 98. I coached Grassy to a few premierships in the 2000s. Yeah. So I've always been a Grassy boy.
So after 5 years now of playing footy in Curry, what sort of feel is this? Do you almost like coming home again?
Well, it is. You have a look. There's a lot of cars here and a lot of people. Look at it. The ground looks amazing. The canteen's good, and all the girls have got everything in there. Yeah, no, it's good.
It changed a lot for the better then, isn't it?
Yeah, well, of course it is. A lot of people don't like travelling from Curry. They reckon it's too far. Really? 20 minutes.
You think it makes a difference for the team to play at home? Or?
Even Jess is laughing at that. Look at that. Oh, of course it does. Yeah, I've seen people today here that I haven't seen for years. You don't. Yeah, so it's good. And just all the little kids around with their mums and dads. It's, good.
Looking bright and sunny for the future of the Grassy Football Club.
Well, it's
Can we
nice
say that?
today. There's no wind and there's no rain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you mightn't say that when they play here next time.
So is it like Grassy last couple of years dominant in the competition? This year a bit of a start is not the greatest.
Yeah, but that can happen in a 3-team comp too.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't think Grassy's won many games, but it can change pretty quickly. Yeah.
So the home advantage, you think that's going to help? Or?
Yeah, no, it should do. Yeah, it'd be interesting as long as they're competitive. And I think, like I said, 3-team comp, you can win from there. Like if they get a couple of players back, which I heard they are getting a couple shortly. I think young Lee Satori's coming back to the island, so he'll help. He's a pretty good footballer. Yeah, so you only need 1, 2 or 3 players like that, and it changes a bit. Yeah, so
you mentioned Satori, the passing of Donald Satori. He was an important man for the Grassy club, wasn't he?
Yeah, like I grew. I was just with Jimmy before when you come over there. His son that lives in West Australia. Jimmy's. Me and him we went to school together and grew up together and played junior football together. So we're still pretty close friends, which is. And it's sad, with Donald, but there'll be a lot of people at the funeral on Tuesday. No doubt about that. Yeah, so, yeah.
All part of memories, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Yeah.
Arnie, back in Grassy, back home after 5 years. How does that feel for the longest running player of Grassy Football Club?
It's been a very long, stretching, tiring time, because my wife had a fair bit to do with it, so, yeah.
Now, we can call you a senior player. Was there at any time where you thought, God, I'm never going to play home again for Grassy, but by that time I'm retired? Or
Never thought of it. Didn't even think. Just want to keep playing football, and that's the way I'm going to roll, year after year.
How many more years do you give yourself? Or do you say, once I wait for him to kick me out of the team, otherwise I keep going? Or
I just keep going till the body, falls apart. Well, that's it.
How many years have you played for Grassy now? Any idea?
This will be my 25th year straight, and I've played several years beforehand, probably 4 or 5 maybe more, but yeah.
So you're already gone past 250 games easily?
No. Don't play enough games to clock that many out.
Well, you can't be too far away after 25 years.
Well, 25 years, but we had COVID, that knocked a few back.
Yeah, true.
So, but anyway.
So what do you think of the ground and how does it all look?
No, the ground's superb, feels good underfoot. Alan Ale done superb with the watering and the mowing. That's all it needs, a bit of TLC and the sheds, far better than they were before. At least we haven't got far to go to the toilet.
Good to be back home.
Yeah, definitely.